So I had a lot to say about tonight's episode. To kind of start off, they ended up replacing Brian since he left the house with Aisleyne, which was a former Big Brother housemate. I'm not too familiar with her, as I've never seen her season that she is on. I'm guessing that she was housemates with Nikki, and somehow I think she knows Brian. I don't know if he was on the same season or not, but mainly I have seen her on bots, and I know she's kind of given her opinion about a few of the housemates that's been on here. And I'm not too sure what she said about everybody, but I know that her and Helen don't get along. So they had brought her in for this challenge, and she kind of was passing out presents as she was acting like Santa Claus. So she pretty much was, I guess, okay with all the originals and was nice to them and gave them presents of good things. But then she gets to Helen and kind of launches a box at her, and she's like, basic rations for a basic bitch. And I'm just kind of like, it's about to pop off in the house between her and Helen. I was like, I don't know what's going to happen with them, but I can see them two like just going at it the whole time. But I just really felt that she leans more towards the older housemates than she's cool with Nikki, she's cool with Brian, but she's not cool with Helen at all. And she's kind of borderline okay with Marc. I can't remember who she was talking to or talking about, but I remember she made a reference to Helen, and she is pretty much like, I won't even say her name. She's not a legend. She's last year's winner. And when she said that, I just kind of knew that it was going to be kind of bad between her and Helen from the start. And Helen, she's kind of just looking at her like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that they brought her in the house, and she knew they would. But the whole time during the whole argument between Helen and also Aisleyne, Harry is pretty much sitting back and trying not to laugh, and I'm just kind of like, Harry, stay out of it, don't get involved in it. It's not your fight. You don't want to get involved in this because both of them will shut you down. And I know Harry's kind of been going through a lot in the house, and I was like, if there was ever a time to lay low, now would be the best time. But I kind of feel like with Helen, she's kind of met her match in the house. I kind of feel like Aisleyne is probably the only person who can go toe-to-toe with Helen as far as arguing and talking. And I don't really know their history too much, but I know they was kind of discussing it to where I guess her and Helen had got into some type of argument, and Helen was recording her because of her friend or something. But I don't really know the history between them, but I guess they have bad blood. As far as Aisleyne and Marc, I kind of felt like there was some type of flirtation with them from the start. I don't know if anything's going to really happen between them two, but I kind of felt like Aisleyne was kind of flirting with Marc just to kind of get under Helen's skin a little bit. And, she is kind of flirting with him, and Sam is kind of looking over what's going on. Christian's kind of looking on what's happening, and Helen was kind of staring at what was going on as well. And also, like in the episode, you kind of see Marc and Helen, they kind of have this conversation within the restroom that they had. And I kind of felt like Marc is probably the most genuine housemate out of anybody who's in the house. Helen, she'll say it how it is, which I like as well, but I kind of feel like, Marc, he kind of lays it all on the line. Like, if you're cool with him, he'll make sure you're protected, and he'll make sure he'll go to bat for you. And I kind of felt that way with him and Helen, as he is saying, even though Aisleyne is in the house, I'm not going to change. If she's talking about you, I'm going to come back and tell you what she's been saying about you. But, I'm not going to change. And I kind of felt like Helen respected that. And even though Helen's kind of tough about, openly saying that they're friends and stuff, there's kind of like a mutual respect between them to where they don't really have to say, hey, you know, we're best friends in the house, as they just kind of look at each other and know. But it kind of got to a point where Helen was going off in the house, and it even got to the point where Simon was trying to calm her down, and he's like, you know, Helen, don't be upset. And she's like, I'm not upset. I'm fucking angry. And she's just sitting up there going off, and Simon's trying to calm her down, and everybody else in the house is trying to calm her down, and she ended up launching some type of drink that she had, but, you know, she was just pissed about the whole thing. And then from there, she kind of got into an argument with Nikki. And I don't know what it is about Nikki in the house, but she always cracks me up in everything she does, whether it be a diary room or argument. You know, she makes me laugh with everything she says. And it got to the point where she was Nikki was raising her voice at Helen. And, you know, Helen's like, all right, you ain't got to spit on me. And then, so they were just kind of like arguing back and forth. But Joel was sitting up there wanting to crack up so bad. And Jack, he's just kind of sitting there with his hands behind his head, just enjoying the whole thing. And I just kind of felt like, you know, looking at this argument that was taking place between all the legends in the house, I kind of looked at the original housemates, and I'm just kind of like, you know, the legends were brought in the house to kind of spark some energy out the originals, and I kind of feel like the more legends that they bring in the house, the more the originals are laying low in the house. And I've felt that way since the very beginning, that they've been laying low. And I know Danny, he is talking a lot of crap about Helen, and he was happy that Aisleyne was brought in the house, because he kind of said, hey, there's finally somebody that can match Helen and out-argue her. So I know he is happy about the whole thing. But, you know, looking at everybody who's in the house right now, I can honestly say that I'm more of a fan of the legends that they're bringing in the house, and all the newbies that they've brought in so far. I prefer them a lot more than the original cast that they had in the house, as a lot of the originals are not really doing nothing in the house. So I really hope, like during this next eviction, I really hope one of the originals goes, whether it be Danny, whether it be Joel, whether it be Jack. Any of them, I hope they go. Even over Sam and Mark. I know Mark's not up, but any of the new people, I would want them to stay over the original cast right now. Probably with the exception of Chloe. I want her to stay in the house, but at the same time, she's still laying low, as she's been laying low the whole time. So, you know, hopefully something will spark in her, and hopefully she'll get more vocal in the house. But feel free to share your thoughts on this episode. I thought it was a great episode myself. You know, where do you see Aisleyne and Helen going from this point? Do you think they're going to get into a lot more arguments? You know, where do you see Aisleyne and Marc going? Do you think there's going to be anything that kind of forms there? You know, do you think she legitimately likes Marc, or do you think she's just doing it to piss off Helen? And also, how do you feel about the original housemates laying low? I mean, I don't know how many weeks it's been so far, but it seems like they've been laying low a lot in the house. So, you know, feel free to share your thoughts on that. Do you prefer the new people over the original housemates, or do you feel the original housemates are better than the new people that they're bringing in? But share your thoughts, and until next time, this has been Jacob, Rob, AJ, and I'll see you.